Hello, good afternoon to all of you. Just please give me 5 minutes time so that we will be able to just for the right, because in 5 minutes I will start the class. Please refer to the previous sessions what we have discussed in the previous classes. Let me go through this one. I hope you are able to listen to me. Any chat box. This today's session we are going to talk about job analysis, how the job is being analyzed, and other various important aspects relating to job analysis. Job analysis is basically process of analyzing the job into various classes. So it is the process of ranking the job. It is the process of ranking the job among the various other jobs. In this particular process, we will do all the jobs in a sequential order, and we will try to manage the jobs or rank the jobs in the serial of importance. For example, in the field of finance, who is the top person? That is GM Finance. And coming to the lower level job, actually accounts persons. Like that, we will arrange the jobs in a specific sequence. This process of arranging the jobs or evaluating the jobs with relating to the other important considerations. Job evaluation process basically tells us about the process of identifying which job is more important, then considering about the criticality of the job or otherwise importance of the job in the process, the organizational structure. That is one. To understand the process of job analysis, you have to keep in touch with the various other aspects like job description, job specification, and job analysis, and so on. So first, let us give a brief idea about the job evaluation process, which is there in the page number 228 of your material book. Refer to paragraph number 13.1. All the students are referred to refer to paragraph number 13.1, that is job evaluation. According to Edwin B. Flico, job evaluation is a systematic and orderly process of determining the worth of the job in relation to the other. So, what is the different jobs? Out of that, each job is placed in the sequential order. That is, which job is having more critical analysis and which job is to be ranked first, which job is more important, and so on and so forth. Job evaluation seeks to rank all the jobs in the organization and place them in a hierarchy that will reflect in relevance to the relative worth of the job. Please try to understand. Within 5 minutes, I will start the PPT so that you will have a clear understanding. Open the book, page number 238, paragraph number 13.1. Second definition is given to you, that Edwin B. Flippo definition we are discussing it. Then, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, job evaluation is the evaluation or ranking of the jobs to determine their position in the job hierarchy. Actually, what is the job hierarchy? From the top to bottom level. Job hierarchy basically tells us about what is the sequence of jobs in comparison to the authority flow. The top level person, highest authority. Say, for example, General Manager Finance, General Manager HR, GM Finance, GM HR, GM Marketing, like that. So when the other jobs are relatively placed in the sequential order, in order to place this sequential order, we need to understand how better, what are the skills required, and what are the qualifications required for performing the specific job sequence, and so on and so forth. So let us go back to page number actually 92. In the page number 92 of the material, it is given that job analysis aspect is mentioned. What is actually the meaning of job analysis? Job evaluation is different. Job analysis is different. When we talk about the job analysis aspect, to put this way for a clear understanding, we can say that job analysis is the first step of our basic requirements of the job evaluation. Coming to the job analysis now, first let us understand. Then let us go with the other important aspects of that. So job analysis basically tells us about what are the various characteristics of the job, and what are the skills required for doing that particular job. What is the nature of the job? Whether it is what is the actually that means nature of the job basically tells us about whether it is critical nature or it is any other sort of administrative position, or is it in the definite time to time performance is very essential, and so on and so forth. What are the characteristics of the job is to be identified? Then what qualifications are required for performing a job? For example, an auditor, a chartered accountant is required. In order to audit the accounts of a firm where tax audit is to be conducted, for that purpose, a chartered accountant is to be appointed. Chartered accountant should have a specific qualifications, like that for engineering, like that for medical. To appoint a medical officer, they must have a basic qualification as an MBBS. Then let us go for the other thing. What type of skills are required? So if you take a chartered accountant job, it requires skill set of auditing practices, analyzing a particular transaction, identifying whether a transaction is a genuine or not by means of evidence, that is evidence-based transaction. The transaction is not reliable, then definitely we need to go for the authenticated check, otherwise investigation of the particular activity. So a chartered accountant must have the skill of verifying each and every transaction with the help of evidence. When evidence is satisfactory, he will feel that this particular transaction is right, correct, authenticated, and so on. So then, what type of skills that are required for that is known to us now. Then coming to the job description, what is actually the concept of job description? Job description basically tells us about what are the roles, what are the responsibilities, what are the duties of the person, an employee, and so on and so forth. All these aspects are to be considered very clearly. So, job description, that is the second one. Job description tells us about the requirements and duties, responsibilities. Then, after that, job design. Another one, that is job design. You note down the points on that. So, job design is the process of generating new types of jobs or designing new systems of jobs, and so on and so forth. So this process is also to be considered. Then, what are the important characteristics of the job analysis? So when once you completed job analysis, a clear description of statement is made, what are the qualifications that are required is identified, then definitely we need to understand about the another important. On the basis of job analysis, go for job evaluation practice. So in the case of job evaluation, the main important characteristics are it tries to evaluate the job, but not the people who are the top of that particular job. Who is doing the job is not required. What type of job it is? What is the nature of the job? Criticality of the job in the organization. How far this particular job position contribute to the success of the organization or achievement of organizational goals. The standard of job evaluation are relative and may not be adequate sometimes. So when we are talking about this process, sometimes we may go for the job evaluation process on some assumptions which may or may not be correct. So the basic information on which the job evaluation is made is highly obtained from the job analysis only. But as I told you, job analysis is the basis for evaluating the jobs. Job evaluations are carried out on the group or individual basis. So on the basis of the group also we can analyze the particular job. The job evaluation does not fix the pay scales. Don't feel that job evaluation is to identify the salary or what is that and that is not correct. So basically it talks about the job only, but not about fixing of salaries. Or mostly, it does not provide the basis for the rating of the jobs also. And now there are various job evaluation criteria out there. On what basis you will go for the job evaluation? What type of responsibilities the job is there for a particular job? Then what type of skills are required for performing the job? And what are the various efforts that are required? What are the conditions that are required for performing the job? And all these aspects have to be understood. And the criteria is the skill, that is how you will evaluate the skills, that is education, experience. Then coming to the effort, whether it is physical effort or mental effort. Physical effort is basically physical labor condition. Mental effort is basically talking about the skill set, what they are using out of their intellectual property. Then responsibility. What type, how much responsibility is that? The finance manager is having more responsibility than an accounts assistant. Account assistant or accounts officer will definitely implement only whatever the decisions that are taken, but not carry out any sort of. But implementation is different. Decision making is different. These aspects have to be understood. Next, coming to the objectives of the. What is the main objective? Already we discussed. That is the ranking of the jobs in a specific sequence. Then second important objective is to motivate the employees towards that. So motivation of the employees towards assessment of the importance of the job condition. How it can be motivated. So job evaluation, if specific ranking is given, then in such a case, it, if the job is placed in a critical position or importance position, then the people will feel happy. So this is briefly something about the objectives. Please give me 2 minutes time. I will continue the class now with the help of the PPT. Please stay back and continue the class. Right. Within 2 minutes, I will shut the
So, good afternoon. In this process of నా బ్యాగ్ కూడా ఇటు ఇవ్వనా? నా బ్యాగ్ తెచ్చావా? అందుకే తలపే. The objectives of job evaluation process. Basically, we are going to talk about secure and maintain accurate and impersonal descriptions of each occupation or job in the firm. That means how the job is placed and secure and maintain accurate impersonal description. So as I told you, this particular process of job evaluation is not according to the person or who is doing this particular job, and whereas only the job related information, on the basis of job related information only we are going to rank them in that proper way. So the next one is to establish standard procedures for determining the relative worth of the job. So the standard procedure is adopted and standard procedures are considered for the adopting of each job to promote fair and equitable remuneration to all the employees, and to promote fair and equitable remuneration of all the employees. So in the case of job behavior and job evaluation process, on the basis of that, how much payment can be made or how much will be how much amount of salaries that can be paid to the employee, that is also possible to be understood. Then to determine the rate of pay for each particular type of the job, that is another important. So what is the rate of pay? For example, in case of an electrician, how much amount that can be paid for each particular 1 hour job, that is again we will compare and we will consider, and this one. So determine the rate of pay for each distinct job. That means for each job we will rate it accordingly. To ensure the fair and equitable wages, salaries are paid for the qualified employees at the qualified rate. These are the important elements. So, right information can be appropriate bodies as necessary action. So, when a particular job performing that, say for example, if a general manager asks about what is the situation of the lower level employee or the worker, then what is the criticality of the job that can be identified, and on the basis of that how much performance is made by that particular person, all these aspects can be given to the superiors as a report for that particular job. Identify the necessary training and development programs to distinct the employees for the improvement of the job related skills. We can identify the employees related job training skills. Actually in the yesterday's class, we clearly understood about the training aspect. So, and on the job training practice and off the job training practices. In the case of on the job training practice, whatever the job that we train and the field of the working condition, then off the job training. So, like, entrepreneurial development programs, EDPs, and also employee development, management development programs, all this can be designed depending on the nature of the job and nature of this particular situation. And essentials of job evaluation program is paragraph number 13.3. So how to go with that? That is also we will consider. So in the job evaluation program should help for the help for the proper classification of the jobs, and at the same time we can understand that job classification should keep help the decision separate pay structure and all the major categories of employees. The wages offered must be commensurate with the prevailing wage rates in the organizations. So in this process, job evaluation program, so the proper classification of the jobs can be done. Other is actually in the paired comparison method, we are going to study about this one, that one in this particular class itself. So proper classification of the jobs on the basis of the skill requirement and the technical aspect. So a decision on the pay structures and pay scales will be adopted, and then equitable wage structure can be given to all the employees in a systematic way. Then the system will be well publicized in all its aspects. So how you are evaluating the job must be known to all the people, all the employees who are working for this particular organization. Then they should be well publicized, and administrative job evaluation program should be properly explained to each employee so that they do not have any apprehensions about. So what is the procedure, how you are evaluating each job, and what is the sequence of the job, and how they are rated, on what basis they are rated. All these aspects must be given all these aspects must be provided to the employees so that the employees will not have any sort of apprehensions, that means misunderstandings will not be there about that particular jobs. Then job evaluation system should be clear and clear to the supervisor, should be clear to the supervisors. So how the jobs are analyzed for the supervisor, that is very clear, it must be mentioned. The supervisor should be given proper training in implementing the system. Whoever is implementing this job evaluation system, they must have the clear ideology about what they want to do and what they want to evaluate. All these aspects must be clear, understandable, and total transparency must be maintained in the job evaluation program. So, otherwise, the job evaluation program leads to so much of conflicts, so much of confusions among them. Why our jobs are analyzed? Who is greater? Who is and not important to the organization. Normally, all the employees will feel that every employee is also a backbone to the organizational success. That is true. Even right from fourth class employee to the class one employee, all are important. But only here an attempt is made to identify the sequential sequential sorry sequential flow of the job series, sequential authority responsibility, and how much is weightage should be given to each type of job and so on. So these are the another essentials of the job program. Then principles of job evaluation. In the case of principles of job evaluation process, principles of job rating is principle of job rating. It is a rate the job, not the man. What are the various important principles for that? That is principle of job rating. That means rating of the jobs is more important, but not rating of the person. Each element of the job should be rated according to the requirement of job itself. So basing on the job requirement only, we are rating that. That not who is performing that job is not important to us. Principle of clarity. The elements of the job evaluation should be defined clearly and select the system how they are adapted. And principle of requisites. The job evaluation purpose should be easily explainable at the levels without any overlapping of them. Job evaluation process must be clearly understandable and it must be clearly explained to all the people. And at the same time, it must be given in a what to say given to the employees a clear picture about what is the basis of evaluating these jobs and so on and so forth. Next. So, principle of uniformity should be followed. So, any job rating plan should be applicable to all kinds of employees, whether it is a foreman of employee or it is all the employees and all. Say, for example, foreman employees, etc. There must be a equitable basis for the job evaluation process. Principle of cooperation. It requires cooperation from the management. It requires cooperation from the employees. They themselves have an opportunity to discuss the job rating practices. These are the another important point. Principle of work value. What is the principle of work value? So how much will be the value of that particular working in work job to be done and so on. And principle of participation. To discuss the job, each job element should be involved in the foreman when the job rating process is in their own department. So all the involvement of all the employees in the organization, involvement of the workers, involvement of the foreman, that is very, very essential. These are the various important elements what you have to understand about the principles of job recruitment. Let me go back. Sorry for the disturbance in that class. Now, principle of job rating. That means all the it is very much understandable that rating of job is more important, but not rating of the person who is performing the job. And the principle of clarity should be given, and each element of the job evaluation process must be clearly explained, and there should not be any sort of ambiguous situation in that. And principle of requisites, that is job evaluation process, should be easily explainable and easily understandable without overlapping any sort of the duties to them. And the principle of uniformity is also very much required. So we all equal same principles must be adopted for the foremen, for the employees, and all that categories. Except in case of the very higher level positions, there may be another system of job evaluation process, but almost all similar jobs must be evaluated on similar basis only. And the principle of cooperation, as I told you, there must be a cooperation from both the sides, that is employee side and employer side, and so on and so forth. And principle of work value, while discussing to the foreman and employees, any discussion on money value should be avoided, and the focus should be pointed out on the degree of each element should subjected to the discussion. That means how much of the salary, how much of the perquisites, how much of the allowances they are getting. All these aspects should not be taken into consideration about the job evaluation process. Should not be taken into consideration. Actually, here we are, as I told you very clear, we are not considering the wage structure here. We are identifying only the job, but not how much it is paid for it. Then principle of participation, as I told you, there is very, very important element, principle of participation, basically how the employees and people, they both are participating in this process of job evaluation, that is to be understood. So coming to the next, the methods of job evaluation process are conventional, non-conventional methods. So in the case of ranking methods of job evaluation, first one is ranking method. So actually in the case of job evaluation process, there are several methods are there. Which method is more sophisticated? That is called as factor comparison method, is the most sophisticated method of giving a job analysis, job evaluation problem. The very basic method, which is actually considered as a crude method of a job evaluation process, that is said to be here, that is ranking method of job evaluation. So in ranking method, committee consisting of management, employees, representatives arrange the jobs in a simple ranking order from the highest to the lowest. So a committee of experts are nominated for the purpose of carrying out the job evaluation program, and they will rank the jobs in a sequence, that is from highest job to the lowest job. Actually, what is highest, what is lowest job, the clear definitions are not there, and clear understanding only we can give you. So what is the importance of that particular job in relation to certain parameters here? So, see, simple, a manager position, a GM position, and a accounts officer position. So, out of this, who will go for the decision making? That is one. What type of skills are required? What type of analytical procedures are required? Who needs to what? So, simply to understand about, if a decision or a plan is wrong, the entire execution itself will be wrong, and the impact of wrong plan or incorrect plan, and impact of execution of the wrong plan or incorrect plan definitely leads to a lot of problem for them. In addition to that, let us compare with the simple worker. If the worker does a mistake, then there is no problem. The work can be rectified or the correction can be done with that. But the loss, whatever that comes from the individual worker, is much different from the loss that the organization suffers from the improper planning activity. That is, you are able to understand, I think. So what is the highest job and lowest job will be identified in that, and each job will be placed according to the rank of one another. Although some firms merely attempt a job title, an alternative brief job title, job descriptions can be given to that. So in this particular job ranking method, there are four important steps are there. One is benchmarking technique. In the case of benchmarking technique, the first technique which is used for the ranking of the jobs is to select the top and bottom jobs, and they act as the benchmarks for the identifying the other job sequences, and the remaining jobs are placed in between them. First top job and lowest job are identified. All the jobs are fitted into the ladder type, and then we will clearly provide the information on that. So then paired comparison is another technique. In case of paired comparison method, each job is compared with the other job and whether how relatively it is important for the organization that is placed. Third one is committee method. In case of committee method, the third technique is in the ranking method. Committee method. In this method, committee is appointed to judge the rationality, and a group of informed evaluators are ranked the jobs. They mark the ranks are averaged to arrive at more accurate judgment. Say in this process, simply committee will be established and committee will rank the different jobs. Like the different two three evaluations will be done. When two three evaluations are done, then they can be averaged to decide about about the rank of the job and job evaluation. So accurate judgment can be done on the basis of averaging principle. Then lastly, organization chart method. In this case, fourth device is that can be used in the ranking organization, that is called as prepare a jobs list and prepare organizational chart. And on the basis of organizational chart, we can go with that. So this organizational chart is very much familiar to all of us. Wherever you go in any organization, a chart that displays about the different jobs. Say in the divisional manager, assistant divisional manager, deputy manager, like that, different ranks, different positions are placed in a flowchart method, and that will give a clear understanding about the job evaluation process and how which job is more important and crucial. So then that is another one, and there are so many limitation merits are also there for this. That is simple and inexpensive system, just identifying the critical top and bottom jobs only, and all the other jobs can be placed in between that. But here there are so many limitations are also there for this method. It is a crude method of job evaluation. Who can decide which job is better? Then difficult to measure the whole job can be identified, and different to use the large undertakings here, and subjectivity is there. Someone may feel that finance job manager job is more important than a human resources manager job, and so on and so forth. So that is there are limitation. Then second important element is that second method. First we discussed about the ranking method, and then we are going to discuss now about grading method of job evaluation. Just recapitulate what we have studied till now, and then we will proceed further. So in the second method, separate grades are prescribed for each and every job condition. Separate job grades are made out for that. So this process is known to us. Actually, in the government sector organizations, still grading process is there. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 employees like that. You might have heard about this one. That is, say, government sector organizations. This grading process is there. And different jobs are arbitrarily based on the jobs and categorization of distinct classes or grades in that. This classification of grading practices is done on the basis of some common denominator practice. What is the common denominator that we need to understand is that, so the responsibility of the job, some responsibility of the job, or otherwise skills requirement of the job, like that. On some or other parameter, we are going to consider the grading of the jobs. Say, for example, shop floor jobs, clerical jobs, sales jobs, and etc. etc. And in case of civil service commissions, we are very well known about this particular grading of the job. Once the classifications are established, they are ranked. Each job is placed in any one of the group. Say, for example, grade 1 category, that is all officers and higher level authorities. Then grade 2, that is execution level. Grade 3, just lower level. Grade 4 employees, assistants and all. Then this is the practice what is mostly followed in this. So in the university system, actually vice chancellor and the registrar are considered as grade 1, and other important official regulatories, they will be considered as administrative positions, they will be considered as grade 2, and again grade 3, grade 4, like that. So a fact that another important method that is very very essential here, that is factor comparison method of job evaluation. This is almost a very very crucial method, very systematic method and scientific method of the evaluating the jobs in this. So in the case of factor comparison method, the step one, actually understand about first of all what is factor comparison method. So in the case of factor comparison method, each job itself is split into various factors. Let me elaborate on this for the 2 minutes, then we will go with that. And in case of a specific job, if they say, for example, in case of an electrician, so in a simple job like electrician, what is the uh, pay that we can be what is the amount that can be paid on hourly basis? And out of that, what is the mental caliber requirement? What is the skill requirement? What is the physical requirement? What is the responsibility for him? What are the working conditions for him? All these things are considered as separate factors. So even electrician, it is not a simple job actually. So he must use his manpower. Where there is a problem, he must be able to identify the problem first. Why the supply of power is not there? Then identifying that requires mental labor. Then he physically he must be fit to arrange or fix the problem, that is physical requirement, and skill, how fast or how easily he can solve the problem, like that. And what is the responsibility for him, all these aspects are to be considered, and in under what conditions he is working, that is also. So in the case of the factor comparison method, so we are considering the 4 to 5 factors which are common for the various jobs, which are common for all the jobs. So each factor, that is responsibility, skill, manpower, physical requirement, resource and working conditions, mental requirement, these are considered as a different factors. Now each factor is identified with a specific rating practice. Now how it will be, let us see. In case of step one, in this method, first an evaluation committee is constituted with the representatives of the workers and management. So first a committee is to be established. Both management and also the workers are participating in this process. For this, you can refer to page number 234, which is also an important element. And committee will be establishing with that. And the step two, next evaluation committee selects 10 to 25 key jobs, 10 to 25 key jobs 10 to 25 key jobs are established, and each job is divided into subcategories and so on and so forth. Then step 3, the committee selects certain factors which are called as criteria in the key jobs against which the each factor is observed against other factors of that. Say electrician level, there is inventory control specialist, maintenance specialist, repair operator. In all these various jobs, each factor will be there in that. So they also, all of them have to use their mental labor, physical labor, working condition, and skills requirement and responsibility on warehouse stocker. So he must be able to properly stock the various goods and all. So in these positions. So then after this one, the next, once key jobs are identified, then criteria should be chosen, and committee members, they should give the key jobs for the each and every employee. So the next step is the most interesting dimension. What I told you is that, so if you take an electrician job and you identified what are the various parameters, what are the various subsets under that, then take that into consideration. Then compare the job of the storekeeper, compare the job of the maintenance engineer, compare the job of inventory control specialist, and so on and so forth. And out of each job, what is the mental labor? Actually, in this figure 1.3.1, if you are having the book with you, it is easy for you to understand. Sorry, it is showing a mirror image. So if you refer to page number 235, in that figure 13.1, the factor comparison method is very clearly given in the material book. So what is hourly rate is considered. Say for example, we are paying hourly rate. So when we are talking, the next step is that factor comparison requires committee to cooperate with the judgment and resolve any discrepancy. Definitely, when the different comparisons are made out, there some sort of differences always will come. Some may question about why my job is not important, why my skill set is not important, why you are giving a lower weightage to my job perspective, like that. That any queries are there or any problems are there, they can be resolved. These are the various important elements. The final step is to decide upon the quantum of each criteria existing in every other job. So these are the various important elements in case of the factor comparison method. Lastly, to go out in this point method or point rating method. So now we are last discussing about the last method in case of the job evaluation methods. In the point rating method, select a representative. Almost similar simple aspects are there in that point method or rating method also this one. This is similar to the factor comparison method, but select a representative job or a benchmark job as usual. Decide the factors used for analyzing the factors, just like what I told you. How much skill set is required, how much responsibility, how much is the manpower requirement, and so on and so forth. Prepare a preliminary definition of each factor that is to be divided, and then we will wait here where it will differentiate between these two, that is points are assigned instead of multiplying the value, instead of multiplying the factor, we are giving a points consideration for that. So if a education requirement is there, education requirement will be given to the that if 10th class education that is highly required for each job, that is 30 points rating, like that we will give on that. Then coming to the another aspect, this is point rating method. So almost all same with the factor comparison method, but different points are assigned for each qualification. Highly skilled requirement 10 points. So mental caliber 5 points and responsibility 8 points. Like that, instead of giving ratios, we are establishing the point method. These are the various methods. This method, all again, I will briefly summarize. Sorry for the disturbance in this. Sometimes it is not lucky. The internet and all. I am not able to present this PPT also. Then next class definitely I will give PPT presentation on this, and I request all the students to. I will review this lesson unit number 13 job evaluation in the next class also, and I will take more time on the review process along with that other particular lessons in this particular. So let me conclude on this. And job evaluation, that process is said to be rating of the importance of the particular job in the organization. This is based on analytical job analysis. Job analysis is basically talking about the job description, job statements. These statements always will be there in that. Then job specification, job skill set, job description, and then finally on the basis of job analysis, we will go for job evaluation process. Then we discussed about the criteria. Then objectives of job analysis is basically job evaluation. Sorry, objectives of job evaluation is mostly for the purpose of securing and maintaining the impersonal judgment about different jobs and their importance. Job evaluation is not with this particular person, but for the particular job. And there are various essentials for the job evaluation program. That is, one is proper classification, support from the management, all the acceptance on that, and the principles of job evaluation is also discussed in this one. Job rating, clarity, principle, uniformity, all these are required. And lastly, job evaluation methods is the very important question for the examination point of view also. Then first one is the ranking method. It is a crude method. Actually, top and bottom jobs are identified and all the jobs are fitted in between these two. And then they in this benchmark technique is my at what is the benchmark jobs and not benchmark jobs, and this one paired comparison method, committee method, organizational chart is prepared. Then as a second one, grading method, under that one different grades are mentioned for the different jobs. That is grade 1 jobs, grade 2 jobs, and so on. And in the case of third one, that is factor comparison method. Normally this factor comparison method will be given for you as a short questions also in the examination point of view. Then point rating method is another important one. And lastly, then we will proceed to 13.6 advantages of job evaluation. So 8 points are mentioned in the page number 237. That is, objectivity will be provided, helps in reviewing the job rating, helps in fixing up the new jobs, helps in improving the selection, and all the various aspects like wage fixation, etc. This job evaluation practices helps us. And there are problems of job evaluation. They may be an essay question or a short question. So there are problems also with the job evaluation process. How the job evaluation method is useful, how to identify the key jobs, that is very different problem. And the job factors and assignment of weights is also difficult. So each job cannot be split into various factors. Sometimes mental labor, physical labor, and responsibility all will be mixed with that. So what type of decision will be taken by a electrician while performing that particular job is dependent on the situation again. So how critical is the job that he cannot predict it. So when he is solving a problem, he must use mental labor, physical labor parallelly, and he must be able to give a good decision for that. And that is also another important one. And factors selected for the job evaluation sometimes definitely overlap. Not sometimes, definitely overlap. That is one. The weights given to the different factors may not be correct. Then definitely all the jobs, all the ranks will not be ranked properly. Like that, there are certain difficulties in that. So this is about lesson number 13, which is the most important lesson in the block number 4. And then definitely we will go through that particular other lessons in the sequential manner. And thank you very much for your constant listening all the way. In the next class, I will review this particular lesson and again I will go for the next lesson. Thank you. Thank you very much. Where are your technical team? Sir, could you come into the chat box once? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.